So in my mental health journal, the personal growth journal, I have this template where you basically write a letter to your future self to help prepare you for when difficult experiences come up, to essentially help you cope with things then by writing yourself a little bit of a pep talk. I've done this for myself before, but I felt like there would be a more effective way of doing that if instead of just writing a letter, I would make a video for when I'm feeling anxious. And then I thought, hold on, it seems like this would be helpful for a lot of people, not just myself. And so today that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be basically giving you, the viewer, a pep talk for when you feel anxious. So turn this on anytime you feel yourself experiencing anxiety. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Dr. Anna Uden. I'm a doctor of clinical psychology and an author. And after the intro, I'm going to go straight into the pep talk. So you feel anxious right now. That is perfectly okay. Anxiety is one of many emotions that exists to help us survive. It is here for an adaptive function. There's no such thing as good emotions and bad emotions. Some of them are more painful, some of them are more pleasant. I'm imagining right now, anxiety feels a little bit more painful for you. That is okay. Remember that it's here to help you survive. Also remember that just because you're experiencing a moment of anxiety right now, it doesn't mean that you are anxious as a person, and it doesn't mean you have an anxiety disorder. And even if you do have an anxiety disorder, it doesn't mean that you're doomed forever. Plenty of people have anxiety disorders and are able to live rich, full, meaningful, joyful lives. So if you're judging yourself right now because you're experiencing a moment of high anxiety, stop judging yourself. It is human. It is a normal emotion to feel at times. You're human just like anyone else. You deserve to feel anxious just like anyone else. Just take a moment right now and ground yourself in the present moment. Plant your feet in the ground. Feel the weight of gravity pulling them down. If you have access to grass or water or some other sort of natural surface, try to plant your feet in that instead. As you feel yourself in contact with the earth, think about how hard your body is working to keep you alive right now. Think about all the things to be grateful for. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food and clean water? Do you have people who care about you? Is your heart beating? If so, then you are lucky right now. There are plenty of people who do not have this. Things might feel really bad right now, and your anxiety might be clouding all the good stuff in your life, but it is not all bad. You have a lot to be grateful for right now. I want you to reach your arms around and just give yourself a hug and just feel the pressure and imagine that it's somebody you love giving you that hug. And hopefully it is somebody you love giving that hug, because hopefully you love yourself. Or alternatively, you can just clasp your hands together and it feels like somebody's holding your hand. Breathe gently. Notice yourself inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Imagine like you're inhaling a petal and exhaling to blow out a candle. Let the anxiety pass through you. Let it pulsate through you. Don't push it away. Just let yourself feel it. Let yourself wallow for a moment. Give yourself the chance to not push away the emotions so that it won't bounce back even harder in the future. Our emotions are messengers, and sometimes they're trying to communicate something to us. Do you understand what triggered your anxiety? It's okay if you don't right now, but if you can remember maybe something you heard or saw that made you worry about the future, or a thought about something that worried you, do you remember what that was? If the anxiety is trying to communicate something to you, try to listen to what that is. Anxiety usually tries to communicate that you're in some sort of danger. And if you are genuinely in some sort of danger, then get yourself out of danger. The chances are, if you're watching this video, it's not that there's actually an imminent threat to your safety. It's that you're perceiving something to be an imminent threat to yourself. Whether it's a thought, a sensation, an image. You have to remember that not all thoughts, sensations, and images are true. Not all of them reflect something that you need to put much stock into. They're just electrical impulses in our brain. We have tens of thousands of thoughts every single day. And while we don't get to choose our initially sensations or thoughts, we do get to choose how we react to them. Sometimes people say to me, oh, I was having an hour-long panic attack. I've certainly had moments myself where I felt like I was on the brink of panic for hours. You have to understand that there is no such thing as an hour-long panic attack. There's no such thing as a half an hour-long panic attack. Panic attacks are very short. They're little blips, maybe a few minutes at most. Our body is not capable of expending that much energy more than a few minutes later. If it feels like the panic is staying for longer than a few minutes, it's because we're doing something to keep it there. Maybe we're choosing to ruminate in this negative cycle that's just keeping the anxiety alive. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying it to empower you. Realize that you have the power to turn down the volume on your anxiety. How do you actually turn down the volume on your anxiety? Don't avoid the thought. Avoidance is the worst thing that you can ever do for anxiety. Anything that you push down is like a beach ball. The harder you push a beach ball down underwater, the harder it's going to pop back up eventually. So do not push your anxiety away. Acknowledge it. Say, I'm having a thought that blank. Or better yet, I notice that I'm having a thought that blank. Because what that does is it helps put distance between yourself and the source of your anxiety. But there's a question that the anxiety is asking you, and you might not realize it yet. But if you think about it, I'm guessing you can pinpoint what it is. Anxiety wants you to answer, oh, do you think this mark on your arm might be cancer? Does your boyfriend want to cheat on you? Are you going to fail this test? By trying to answer this question, whether by thinking about it, by replaying your memories, by planning how you'd cope if your worst case scenario happens, by reassurance seeking, by looking up information online, by scanning and checking your body for symptoms, you are keeping your anxiety alive. Stop it. Where attention goes, energy flows. Cut off the attention that you give to this anxious thought. Don't avoid the anxiety, don't shut the door on it, but also don't give it more attention like it wants. Don't answer its question. You might think that by answering the question, you're going to feel better. Once you find out, oh, things are not as bad as I think, you'll be able to breathe freely again. But that's not what's going to happen. In most cases, you might feel temporarily better, but the anxiety is only going to come back even harder next time. Don't screw over your future self by letting yourself feel short-term relief. If you can withstand the short-term discomfort, your future self will experience less anxiety for it. Remember, you've probably felt this way before. Think about the previous times when you felt like something really scary and terrible was going to happen, and now when you look back on it, it seems so insignificant and small. This is just like that. Your anxiety might be trying to convince you that no, this time's different, this time's the real danger. But it's lying to you. It always feels more real when you're focused on it in the present. This is probably no different from the countless other times when you experienced anxiety. In 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 years, you're probably going to laugh and think it was silly that you worried about this. And also, you must accept the truth that the answer to the question your anxiety is asking could be yes. Yeah, your boyfriend could be cheating on you. Yeah, you could fail that test. It's not outside the realm of possibility. There is nothing certain in life, and there is no such thing as safety in life. Not absolute safety, not absolute security. If you go through life chasing safety and security, it is going to be fleeting. You're going to be chasing something that never comes. Let's say that you're scared of flying in planes, like I am. I'm scared of turbulence. I don't want to fall out of the sky. So then you feel relieved when you're back on land. But when you're back on land, you're afraid of earthquakes. And you think, oh, maybe over there I'll be safe, where there aren't any earthquakes on this continent. So you go on that continent, but they have a different natural disaster, and maybe a meteor could crash into that part of the world. So you think, oh, in space I'll be safe. But in space, there are 1,000 things that could go wrong. There's no gravity, there's no oxygen, there's no food, you could go spinning for eternity. Understand that there is no such thing as certainty, and there is no such thing as true safety. There is no guarantee in life that everything will be okay. Your worst case scenario could happen. Stop trying to reassure yourself that the answer to your anxious question is no, because you simply don't know that. And understand that if your worst case scenario does happen, you will be equipped to deal with it. Plenty of people go through horrific things: poverty, war, Holocaust, natural disasters, terminal illness. We have the strength to cope with whatever happens. Other people, weaker people, have done it before. You need to trust your future self to be able to handle whatever life throws your way, even if it's your worst case scenario. And you need to stop ruining the joy of the present moment by trying to convince yourself that that horrible thing isn't going to happen, or by trying to cope with what happens if it does. That moment isn't real yet, and it might never be. The present moment is all that you have. I know too many people who go through life incapable of feeling true joy and bliss because they are always worried about something that could happen in the future. They are forsaking the present for something that may never come. The future isn't real. The present is all we have. Stop robbing yourself of the real things in life for something that's not real. Make a commitment right now to practice acceptance of whatever life throws your way, no matter how unfavorable it seems. If your worst fear comes true, so be it. You'll be able to handle it. You will find a way to make it work. At least you will have spent this present moment feeling the joy that you deserve to feel. So right now, make a vow to live your life. Decide, what do you need to do right now to make this moment better, to live today to the fullest? What sort of coping would help you get out of this rut? Maybe you need to go for a walk, or do some active stretching, or take a cold shower, or take a hot bath. Maybe you need to get out of bed and call up a friend. Maybe you need to put on some music and start moving your body in whatever way intuitively feels good. Maybe you need to take out your journal and start journaling. Write it down right now. On your phone, I know you're watching your phone right now. Pull up your notes app and write down what are 3 things that would help you feel better in this moment. Whatever it is, do something and immerse yourself into it fully. Immerse yourself in the 5 senses. Acknowledge your anxious thoughts if they return, and every time bring your attention back to what you're doing. Let yourself live your life and let yourself feel joy. I believe that you can do this. You are capable of soothing yourself. You have that innate capability. No one might have taught you to do it, but you can learn on your own. You are strong enough to handle this now. You don't need to answer the anxiety's question. You're probably going to be fine, and if you're not, you can handle that too. Don't sacrifice the present moment by worrying about the future. I hope this helped. Hi, just want to mention, I have a new relationship skills course out called the Connection Course. It contains over 4 hours or 252 minutes of 15 lectures, as well as 20 pages of handouts. We're talking journaling prompts, exercises, homework assignments, and a community forum where you can ask other students and myself questions about the course or helping apply some of the exercises if you're struggling with them. This course goes into all the foundational skills of healthy relationship that I think are important for people to have, like communication skills, understanding what healthy relationships are, what are the ingredients of healthy love, emotion regulation, how to keep your relationship positive, attachment style, boundaries, conflict management, how to recognize unhealthy relationships, how to end unhealthy relationships, self-assessments, and more. So if this sounds like something that would be helpful to you, I'm going to include a link to it at the very top of the description box of this video. Check it out. It is on LearnWorlds, and I have pay over time options as well.